Hi, I'm quickly going to cover off 7 super easy show-off shots that anyone could get on a table today and play. Okay, let's start with 2 really easy ones. We're going to do a super screw or draw shot and a super topspin shot. Let's start with the screw shot first. So all you want to do, your normal screw shot, when you're really hitting it hard, you might grip this tight, so you want to leave it nice and loose, get your cue as flat to the table as possible, follow right through with the cue ball. To make it look really cool, you could lunge your whole body into it, but make sure at the point that you hit the cue ball, everything's in line. Now let's see if we can screw this back and get it to the other side of the table. Is it going? Is it going? Is it going? Come on, get there, get there, get there. So next up, a super topspin shot. It's quite similar to the last one, and we want to keep our cue as level to the table as possible. So you raise your bridge up so you're contacting about 3/4 of the way up the cue ball. You're keeping everything still this loose. You're making sure your cue is pushing through the cue ball. For added emphasis, you can lunge right into it, making it look really cool. But the important thing again is to make sure that at the point of contact, everything is in line. Now this, I'm going to demonstrate something, is actually quite a difficult shot in UK pool because the cue ball is 1/78 inches. That means it's smaller than the object ball. If you've got the same size cue ball as the object ball, then it's actually quite an easy shot. Now let's try that with the small cue ball. So same as the backspin shot, I'm going to try and follow through to that cushion and get it back to this one. It's going to be really hard though. Come on, come on. Yes! Next up, I want to make the cue ball change direction after it hits the cushion, like this. Now, that's a really simple shot. All it is playing a bit of reverse side. Now, I'm putting bottom on the cue ball, so it's bringing the cue back the way. If I don't put side in it, you can see where the cue ball goes to. It wants to come back in this direction. But if we put a little right-hand side on it, it changes things. So I'll play the shot again. I'm going to put backspin on it, so the cue ball's heading back this way. But importantly, I'm going to put right-hand spin on it. So we're going to hit the cue ball about 5 o'clock. The backspin will take it to here. It is reverse side, so the right-hand spin on the cue ball will make the cue ball head down to the left. Now, in terms of aiming, I'm just going to aim to hit the red ball about here. The right-hand side will push it off its natural path, and hopefully we pot the ball. Just like that. This next trick is an ultimate show-off shot, but it's also something that's really good to practice. And what I'm talking about is actually potting balls with your eyes shut. Could you imagine doing that to someone in a frame? But it's great to practice because if you can pot balls with your eyes shut, it means that your technique is performing as it should. Now, I actually did a video on this, a 1-minute video just showing me potting with my eyes shut, and every single person who watched it watched the full minute. It got loads of likes, it got quite a few subscribers, it had the coolest thumbnail ever, but YouTube didn't promote it to anyone. It actually only got 599 views. It is my worst video by far. So I'll link to it at the end of this video, so if you watch this to the end, please just click on that video just to give an FU to YouTube and hopefully get me to 1,000 views. So all this is line yourself up to pot a shot, get down on it, and if you're happy with where you're lined up, shut your eyes and see if you can still pot the ball. If you can, it means that your whole technique is perfect. Just like that. Okay, let's supercharge a spin shot now. But before I do it, I just want to give you a little bit of theory on this. Let's put the cue ball right in the centre of the table. I'm going to play it right over the black spot, and I'm going to hit 3 o'clock on the cue ball. Let's see how much spin we can generate with this. So watch where it hits the cushion. See, we've got just below the middle pocket. Now let's hit it at 5 o'clock. So a bit below centre. Same amount of spin on it, and see where we can hit. You see that? We've got much more side spin by putting bottom on it. So we're going to use this theory to supercharge the next spin shot. Okay, let's now supercharge a spin shot. So I'm going to pot this ball just with bottom on the cue ball. So I'm hitting about 6 o'clock on the cue ball. And you can see where I got the cue ball back to. Now, if I hit the same shot and hit it about 9 o'clock on the cue ball, so no backspin, but just side spin, let's see where we can get it. 9 o'clock. If the cue ball was heading down that way and it wanted to come back the way, and it's still spinning, which is pretty cool. So the backspin and the side spin make it want to come back the way. So if we combine the two, then we can get some serious action on this bad boy. Just like that. Wow. We hit there just with backspin, we hit here with side spin. Is my favourite shot. And it's also Bob from the Minions' favourite shot as well. What am I talking about? It's the banana. It looks such an unusual shot, and when you see it in a frame, you're kind of taken aback. But it's actually very useful at times, and people always ask me how I actually play it, what spin am I putting on it. Now this is a good part. There is no spin apart from topspin. All you're doing is putting topspin on that ball. So anyone who can pot a ball and anyone who can play with topspin can play this today. Now there's a couple of important parts to it. You want the ball near a cushion. That's quite important because it's the cushion that makes everything change direction. If you put topspin on the shot, the cue ball is rotating that way. It's hitting off the cushion there, it's still wanting to go that way if you've hit it with enough topspin. So after it hits that cushion, it's still going to go that way. Now, the amount of banana that you get on the ball can change depending on the angle that you've got. So if I leave myself quite straight, if I banana this, it's going to topspin almost straight away. Just like that. If you give yourself more angle, say like this, then it'll take longer to banana. And that's because when you hit the ball, it skids to begin with before the rotation starts to kick in. So the harder you hit it, the more it's going to skid. And then once the skid wears off, then the topspin kicks in. So that's two bananas it. I actually like it a third way, and you know what, I'm just going to leave this in no matter what happens. This might not work. If you can get it, if you can judge angle well enough, the cue ball will start to kind of arc. If you can get it that it's not arced before it hits this cushion, then that is really cool, because then it takes all the spin off that cushion and it always seems to change direction. So let's give it a go. Good miss. I'm having another go at that. That was terrible. Let's have another go. Need it a little bit straighter, I think. You see that? It wasn't perfect, but it did kind of change direction there. Last one. Okay, so the last shot I'm going to show is how to arc the cue ball. And it's quite similar to the banana shot and uses the exact same physics, except we're going to do it with backspin, like this. So what you're doing is using the same principles as the banana shot, where the ball is skidding before the rotation kicks in. So if I play the shot quite soft and with backspin, you can see the backspin takes form a lot quicker, and I actually get to almost the same point there. I probably could have hit that better and got the cue ball to screw back to there. Now that's because the rotation was happening straight away. So if I play the shot again and hit it much harder, then we can demonstrate what happens to the cue ball. It skids after it hits the object ball before any rotation kicks in. So I didn't put as much on that, but it was still a kind of small arc. Now there is a way to get this shot even more impressive looking. So let's do that now. So if we hit this shot hard enough, after the cue ball hits the object ball, it's going to skid down that way. The rotation of the backspin then kicks in and it heads towards here. I think the last shot that we played, we hit about here and the cue ball ended up down that way. If we add side spin to it, then we can make it look really cool. Thanks for watching, and as promised, please check out this video for me to get it over 1,000 views. Please, please, please.